So we got Hayden Gilmore here. He's a 2025. He just committed pretty recently to Three Rivers Community College. First off, congratulations, pal.
Thank you.
So give me the small talk. Where are you from? What position you play, etc. Where you go to high school, all that jazz.
So I'm from Kennett, Missouri. I attend Kennett High School, and I'm a first baseman, left-handed pitcher, and I play corner outfield as well. And I joined the Tigers in my 15U season, and then I'd been with them all the way through 17U, just finishing up this past summer. So
yeah, that's sweet, dude. So obviously the St. Louis Rawlings Tigers, how far is that from Kennett?
I'm about 3.5, so 3.5 hours from Kennett. So it was a drive every weekend during the summer,
sure.
And a little bit during the winter too, but it was for sure worth it, 100%.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it obviously worked out for you, so you can't complain.
No, not at all.
So walk me through your college recruitment experience. Like some guys have super short processes. Like they just, I went to the showcase, I hit a homer, or I threw 97, and I was signed. And some guys, it's super. The coach for a year or whatever. Like, give me your experience getting recruited and ending up signing with the Rivers.
So my 16U summer played really well, hit well, threw well. It's really good on the defensive side of the ball. I played really good defense in the corner, and then kind of played a little bit of first base towards the end of the summer. But overall, I hit super well and ended up getting kind of some D1 interest right out of the gate my junior summer, and went to a couple camps. They didn't kind of go my way. I did kind of poorly at these camps, and it kind of humbled me and kind of made me realize the next level I had to achieve to kind of play at that level. And so, I got to work, led to this summer. Obviously, stuff doesn't turn out how you want to all the time. So the D1 interest kind of slowed down. And then that's when I got some phone calls from some JUCOs, got a couple JUCO offers. And then eventually Three Rivers called, and I went on a visit, and I was really excited with the place. It looked awesome. Loved the coaching staff, and I already had a few buddies playing there right now. So it was kind of just
clutch.
Yeah, it was kind of just the perfect fit. Obviously, I had other JUCO offers, and I'd been there, and I'd love those places too. But something about Three Rivers kind of stuck with me and made me realize, like, hey, I want to be here for the next couple of years and develop as a player, and hopefully eventually after that go Division I. So I chose Three Rivers a couple weeks ago, and it was one of the best decisions I ever made.
No, 100%. I was a Region 16 junior college guy, played at St. Charles, so obviously we played against Three Rivers plenty. It's a nice ballpark down there, dude. I like playing down there.
Yeah, definitely. It's a little bit friendlier to lefties, so I kind of like that. But
no question about it.
It's a graveyard for righties, so hopefully,
through time,
that'll fare well for me on the pitching side of things.
Yeah, 100%. You were talking about going to some camps, going to some showcases. Which ones did you go to? Were they schools or were they?
Yeah, so I had attended SEMO and then the University of Arkansas Little Rock. So some OVC schools that I had kind of reached out to early in the recruiting process junior year, right at the deadline. And I had some good conversations with them. I was really interested in their programs. Unfortunately, I mean, like I said, I went to their camps, did what I could, didn't play out the right way. And unfortunately, that didn't work out between us and them. But obviously where I'm at now with the Three Rivers, maybe that door opens back up in 2 years. That's obviously the plan. That's obviously the goal. And yeah, I can't complain about how it ended up. I'm playing college baseball. I'm one of the very few percentage of guys who gets to play. So
yeah,
it's a very unique opportunity, especially I'm going to two-way at Three Rivers. So
see, that's huge too. I think getting a two-way is huge.
That puts me in an even smaller percentage and kind of makes my situation a little bit more special than some other guys. So I'm really excited about it.
Through time. I mean, junior college is just crazy underrated. I think going to a good junior college is it's the move, honestly, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. I mean, unless, like you said, like you walked up to SEMO and they're like, here's your offer, and it was good. You know what I mean? Like, it's the next best thing is going to junior college, in my opinion, 100%. Obviously. So obviously, you said you went to a couple of schools camps and it didn't work out. I think that's a good point to touch on for like the Tiger kids that are getting ready to go to their camps. Like the next wave of kids that are going to be trying to get into college baseball is Yeah, you might get invited to a camp, and like you might go, and like something might come out of it, or something might not. Like you said, you're interested in Little Rock, interested in SEMO, and that's good. Like I mean, it's good that you went to the camps. You know what I'm saying? Like it's way better than just never going, because even though you're not going there out of high school through time, you're over at Three Rivers balling out, and your sophomore fall, sophomore spring, whatever. They're gonna know who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like they already know who you are. So it's good, really. Just even if you don't end up getting offers from schools, I think for kids to like meet the coaching staff, like know the faces, like because especially like with the portal and obviously clearly junior college, you're going to be out in 2 years. Is like those doors can reopen all the time.
Yeah.
There's never like a set in stone thing like, oh, well, he never came here out of high school, so we're never going to sign him ever again. Like, nah, that's not quite how it works.
I'd like to add to that too. Like for a lot of people, like the biggest thing, the name of the game right now is making relationships. So just going to those camps, it costs some money, but money is just an object. Those relationships you build with coaches, they can kind of turn into something longer down the road, whether it be you playing college baseball at their school, or whether you go be a college coach, or you need a recommendation from somebody. Any relationship can help. So that's probably my biggest message for younger kids, especially young Tiger kids, is just go to these camps and do not be afraid to introduce yourself. Like once they hear your name, it kind of sticks to them, because not a lot of people go and introduce themselves at camps. They kind of just expect the coach to know who they are. If you go out and kind of show you're interested and reach out to these guys and talk to them and try to build a relationship, it's going to stick with them. And then, like you said, in my case, say I do go ball out at Three Rivers. If I say I built this relationship with these coaches at SEMO and Little Rock, that's just going to help me. The whole
there's no way it hurts you.
Yeah, the introduction part of getting to know a coach, I'm gonna be right by that, and it's gonna be kind of getting down to the I'm trying to find the word for it.
Through time and outs. Like,
yeah, just getting down to the basics of it. Like,
yeah,
I'm not gonna have to be like, hey, my name's Hayden. Like, nice to meet you. Like, that's already been done. I already know a lot of coaches at the Division I level. So, yeah, that's my biggest thing. Just reach out and get to know guys, even if it's players at a camp. Get to know them.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's he's talking about players, and I wanted to add, I think it's good for, like you said, you have a couple buddies that play at Three Rivers, which is huge. Like, I think it's really valuable. If you're not always going to be able to do this with every, if you're somebody else, but is to talk to guys that play there now, or like just got done playing there. Like, you can get like the best insight of like what the day to day is like with the program. I mean, obviously, when you go on a college visit, like through time, he's trying to get you to come to the school. You know what I mean? So it'd be like everything's gravy all the time, which I mean, it's probably not going to be. Like, every place has its things that isn't great about it. Like, literally every place ever. So how did you go about establishing your relationship first with Tyler Smith, head coach, or whatever coach you talked to? How did you first go about like introducing yourself to him, or did he introduce himself to you? Like, how did that go about?
So I'd kind of got to communicating with him kind of through like the grapevine, like, hey, a player sent him my number, and that's kind of how that whole conversation sparked up. He introduced himself. He kind of made it clear from the second or third message, like, hey, I want you to be a Raider as a two-way guy. And so as a player, that obviously kind of sticks with you when he skips the whole introduction part. He already knows who you are, and he's like, hey, I want you here. Obviously that's the thing. Go where you're wanted. Go where guys, like, there's like a need for you in their program, if that makes sense. Like, don't go where you and the 9 other guys on that team are kind of all the same guy, Yeah. Like, go where there's something in it, like something specific about you that your coach wants. And I felt that with Tyler. It was kind of a simple conversation, and obviously it took some time for me to commit and kind of get down to that. But I texted him on some random day, like, hey, I want to get down for a visit. Like, I've thought about it. I'm really interested. Let's get me down for a visit. 2 days later, I'm down there at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'm touring the campus. And I was talking to my mom in the car right after, and I'm like, hey, there's no point in waiting anymore. Like, let's just get this over with. I want to commit. Like, I want to be a Raider for the next couple of years. And Yeah, it was super easy and simple, and I know for a lot of guys it's not like that, but most of the time it's if they want you, they want you, and that's the thing. Go where you're wanted. So
Yeah, like I think the coaches will show you. You know what I mean? Like whether through conversation or like in the campus, the visit experience, whatever. Like I think they'll show you through time. You know, if they want you. And like you said, that's a great point. Like going where you want it, going where you're your shot to contribute on a regular basis. You know what I mean? And especially from the jump, like especially from your freshman fall, you get a shot to start and be awesome. So what was you talking about? You went down to visit campus. What was the campus visit like?
it was really nice. They're kind of in the process of building all brand new stuff for the baseball team. So they're getting a brand new indoor facility.
No,
their weight room's one of the top I've seen from a JUCO. It's really awesome. But they're getting brand new indoor facilities, brand new clubhouse, and that's to add on to such a beautiful field and all the baseball stuff they already have. So
through time,
it's kind of it'll be almost like another Tigers experience with the facilities. I'll have access to it from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. Like I can go in there and get my work in. It's kind of a you're on your own time thing. Obviously, you'll have team practice, but yeah, it was just super nice. I'd seen the housing; it's super nice, and obviously, it's close to home, and for a lot of guys, close to home is kind of one of the biggest things. And for me, obviously, I didn't mind going 3 hours away for school or whether I was 30 minutes away for school, but it just something about Poplar Bluff and Three Rivers kind of stuck with me, and I just kind of realized it was the perfect spot. They're putting a lot of money into the baseball program, and
it's crazy.
Yeah, all brand new stuff. It's gonna be super nice, and I'm really excited to see it. So
is the clubhouse and the indoor going down the right field line still?
So indoor is gonna be up, connected to the
through time.
The weight room is connected to the like kind of basketball gym.
Yeah, through time. The little hill right there.
Yeah, up that hill, and then the indoor is gonna be right behind the weight room. So literally, you'll walk through. You'll go to the weight room. You can get a lift in. Then you'll walk through the doors, and you're right into this big kind of barn hitting facility. We'll have 5 or 6 cages, full place to do like turf infield, all this stuff. It's gonna be super nice. It's gonna be a really cool experience to have however many guys on the roster kind of all being able to get their work in at the same time there. And it's gonna be really
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's gonna be really big for me being a 2-way guy. Say I don't get to hit for some reason, I'm throwing a bullpen during practice. I can take a 5-minute walk up that hill, if that, probably 1 or 2 minute walk up that hill, face the same stuff I would see off the hack and get my work in. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. It's gonna be super nice. And obviously the clubhouse, it's gonna be a huge clubhouse, super nice with all these.
Yeah, where's that going? Is it connected?
So they're just gonna make a bigger one on the right field line, and
through time,
brand new lockers, and they're getting a big protein deal with First Form, I think, and all this stuff. They're putting a lot of money and effort in the baseball program, and that's this hats off to Coach Smith. He's trying to build something real special there, and I can see that, and I'd be kind of stupid and not want to be a part of that, you know.
Apparently, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Hey. So expectations for your freshman fall, right when you get there from the jump. What's your expectations for yourself? What do you think it's going to be like? Like, what do you think?
Obviously, it's going to kind of be new, but at the end of the day, baseball is baseball. I'm not going to try to make it more than it is. I'm obviously going to be a freshman. I'm going to try to learn from all the sophomores, the 2-year guys that are there right now, and I'll have some older guys who I went to high school with, actually. So I'll get to kind of learn the day-to-day from them and see what it's like to be a Division I athlete. But
through time,
my goal is to step on campus and compete on both sides of the ball, pitching and hitting, and play for some time. You know, like Region 16 is competitive. It's not a walk in the park region. I want to play against the best Region 16 teams possible, and I want to do it right from the jump, from game 1 to game 60, however many you play. Like I want to be on the field. I want to contribute to a Region 16 title. So that's kind of my goal from the jump. And I know some of the other guys in my freshman class, we've talked about it. It's the same thing with them. They want to be one of the better freshman classes at Three Rivers. They want to contribute from the jump and kind of make a name for themselves and then move on to the next level. So that's it's always a good feeling when you have guys who have the same goals and ideas as you and aspirations. And I think it's going to be a really good opportunity. So.
Yeah, 100%. I think part of the junior college life, at least in my experience, and you may end up seeing the same, is you don't have practice regulation hours like the NCAA does, right? Like you pretty much have no regulations at all, which in my opinion is awesome. But you spend so much time with those guys, and you through time play 2 seasons, more or less with fall ball. But you get so close with them, and it's the best time. I think you're gonna love it.
Yeah.
So what role do the Tigers play in helping you get to the next level? We obviously talked about it a little bit already, but
so with the recruiting side of things, obviously I told you how I got connected with them. It wasn't like Jaws texted Coach Tyler Smith and was like, "Hey man, I really got to get one over here for you." It didn't work out that way. As I talked to a player there, and they got me set up, and that's kind of how that went. But the biggest thing for me was kind of transforming my game into that of a college baseball player
through time.
So I went from being this 15-year-old kind of scrawny kid, had these long levers, didn't know how to use them, to being a 17-year-old, soon to be 18-year-old who's I've kind of gotten an understanding for my body and how I move, and
through time,
kind of just the day to day of how to go about your business and get your work in. So I'd say that was the biggest thing for me from the Tigers, is learning the mental side of the thing. Most importantly, obviously, the team we had last year, everybody had skill.
Yeah, you guys were good.
But what put us a step ahead of everybody else was our mental game was that of all college athletes. We kind of, whether you went 0 for 4, whether you went 0 for 10, we kind of put it aside and knew what the goal was, and that was us winning all those games this summer. That was us making the Final Four at PBR. We kind of knew the bigger picture, and we were able to kind of be more. We've kind of been able to be mature as a 17-year-old kid and kind of handle it like a 18, 20-year-old college freshman or sophomore. You know?
Yeah, 100%.
Our dugout was always kind of one of those biggest things. It was always good culture. Obviously, we had our arguments, but that's going to happen when you have a group of 20 guys who are trying to make it to the next level and play for a scholarship. You're going to argue. There's just too much. There's all these egos and so much kind of that play into it, and there's all the stress and all this stuff. But we were able to kind of put all that aside, and I attribute that to the Tigers and Coach Roe Miller and Coach Mack. The mental side of things was just preached since the day one. I kind of joined the Tigers.
Yeah,
it's like, hey, you gotta carry yourself like this. You can't act like the 15, 16-year-old, 17-year-old kid. That's not your next. That's not going to be good for you. Kind of playing to the next level. So I'd say, sorry to ramble on there, but that was the biggest thing.
That's what you're doing this for. Let you ramble.
That was literally the biggest thing that I kind of took away from my time with the Tigers was they formed us into the college athletes. We always had the tool. We always had the tools. We always had the makeup. We always had everything there. We just kind of we couldn't get past this part of everything. And so,
I mean, the college game and the high school game, at least in my personal experience, is so different. And like you said, I mean, there's a saying that like it's kind of going like is a pro ball saying that's like you got to act like a pro before you are a pro, and the exact same thing applies to college. Like you got to act like a college baseball player before you're actually one.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because I mean, like I just said, the high school game and the college game is just vastly different. And really, in my opinion, the only way to figure that out truly is by just getting to college, and then you see it and you're like, oh yeah, okay, this is way different.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry to interrupt here, but that's kind of what made the Tigers unique, is that there's so many college guys around the facility.
Yeah.
You learn from if you're starting with the Tigers at 10U, obviously I didn't have that opportunity, but say you're starting with it at 10U, you're going to see what it's like to be a high school athlete and then eventually be a college athlete from day one. They built something so special with the Tigers, that big facility. There's so many different stories and athletes there that you talk to one of them and you might have a completely different perspective on what being an athlete, being a baseball player is. Like,
100%.
It's just such a cool and unique space, and that's why the RTC is one of the most special places in St. Louis to go if you're a baseball player. Like, you need to be there and you need to be getting better. So,
yeah, 100%. Like, I know I played at Missouri Baptist, so we practiced there like full. But in winter break, I'd go in there and hit, and like, there's literally so many guys that are playing college baseball that would come into RTC and hit. It was a little community. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
for sure. You kind of
build off what you said was through time. I obviously that happens in RTC. That's awesome. You know what I mean? But when we were talking about alumni, like, we can use these spotlight interviews to go like further than just RTC.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, a guy that's playing for the now Tigers Tigers can see Hayden Gilmore's story and hear Hayden Gilmore's story from. Like, oh, okay, like, this is obtainable. Like, it's not some crazy, like, next level, like, magical moment thing that the coach just shows up and hands me my scholarship. That, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you had to offer advice to one piece of advice to like a current high school Tiger guy, that's kind of, the coin question. But what would you tell him? Like, what would your advice be? Through time.
I'll throw in 2 here, just because there's a mental side of it and there's a physical side of it for me. Never lose confidence. Like, I was talking to one of my hitting coaches about this the other day, and you have to be the same guy when you're 0 for 4 versus when you're 4 for 4.
Yes.
Like, when you walk into the cage and you're hitting off the hack and you set it up on 7-7-10 from 35 feet away, it's going to be tough, but you got to be the 4 for 4 guy up there. You have to always carry that I'm 4 for 4, I'm a dog mentality into it. So never lose confidence and never lose sight of what your end goal is. Like, you got to be the same guy always, and know that no matter who's on the mound, no matter who's at the plate against you, like, you're a good baseball player. Like, you have to always have that sort of confidence to it. And then kind of to piggyback off of that, like, fall in love with the cage. The cage can be used for so many things. I've thrown bullpens in cages. I've taken fungos in cages. I've used hack in the cage. I've done front toss. I've done everything. I've done pretty much anything you can think of in a cage. But it's this kind of secluded area where you can focus for any given amount of time. I tell a lot of guys when we get in there, it's nothing matters outside of the cage. You just need to stay in between these nets and focus on what you're trying to focus on. Like, fall in love with the cage and hit off the hack every day, or hit off front toss every day. Do something to make yourself better in the cage, and those just keep stacking days. Those days are going to keep making you a little bit better each day. And you hear the saying 1% better each day. Like, that's literally what it is. Like,
it's facts.
Find any sort of time to get in the cage and do anything. I don't care if you stretch in there. Like, I don't care if you do plyometrics. I don't care if you hit, you pitch, do anything in that cage, and kind of seclude yourself off from everybody else. Like, don't be in this big area and you just follow the pack. Like, do your own thing in that cage. Like, do what's best for you, and just fall in love with it. Like, that's where most of the work gets done. You can do any sort of live practice. Like, what's going to set you apart is the extra work you do on your own. And that's why I'm saying, just fall in love with the cage.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, all right. Well, that's pretty much all I got for you, dude. I'm going to hit this record end button, but